This is Too Long for a Voice Note, a podcast about everything and nothing at the same time. Presented by Claire
and Enzo. Our podcast is produced in London. Some conversations are just too long for a voice note.
Claire,
Enzo,
I have something to tell you before we get to our new episode.
what is that?
Have you heard about the app Newsly?
I have. So Newsly is the first ever app that makes the internet listenable.
It's actually really cool.
So cool.
Because, you know, when you are on a rush, or you're rushing to the tube, or you're like, oh my god,
on the
I
way
need
to the gym, something,
whatever.
anything.
But you want to get, you know, you cannot read in this situation,
Yeah.
but you want to get like informed, you want to know about the news, you want to read, you know, whatever it is, now you can listen to it. So
amazing. And also, did you know that your very favourite podcast, Too Long for a Voice Note, is also available on Newsly, so you can listen to us.
It's really cool
weekly.
because actually you can put together like a list of articles you want to listen to, and also you can put in the middle some podcasts. There are a lot of great podcasts, and of course the best one, which is this one.
Exactly.
It's got its features. So
Enzo, how can our listeners enjoy Newsly?
you can use it on iOS, but also in Android. So you can just put Newsly and download it. Then we're gonna leave a link here so you can just go and get it.
Check below.
You're gonna get 1 month for free if you put the name Enzo with a 0 at the end.
Of course, Enzo. Of course, his name, Enzo. But please do use the code Enzo at checkout to get 1 month for free.
And please let us know what you think about it, because we're loving it so far. So
Exactly, it's amazing. Thank you guys. Hey, he's Enzo.
And she's Claire.
And this is Too Long for a Voice Note.
Hello everyone, welcome back. I've almost caught you in the middle of the intro. We went too long for the whatever. Hello guys.
We're here. How are you, Enzo?
Oh good, I'm excited to film a new episode. So excited that we're filming episodes back to back. I think we did enough, like, not enough, but we did a few, special episodes, content.
Bonus.
So now it's like we're gonna try to make some,
because the episodes are our main kind of thing, so we're on a roll with that.
So I'm excited to
we discuss what we got, our
new mugs with our beautiful faces.
Cheers.
Look, cheers. Bam. So it's like a collection
logo.
of funny faces from different episodes and our logo, because, you know, branding.
So cute. So cute. How has your week been?
It's been alright, you know, it's been okay, just working, going to the office, you know, we got cool news that Rihanna's pregnant. I don't know why it's such a where like Rihanna's everyone went crazy.
It's gonna be such a cute baby, honestly.
Yeah. So happy for I love the reveal photos. You know, like she's going on the streets and
like the pink coat and everything like that.
It's so Rihanna, right?
How old is she? Like 34, 33,
32, 33. Yeah, she's very young.
She's been around forever.
Yeah. But she's so cool. I love that her reveal was so natural and so
her.
like Rihanna, right?
Yeah,
and
I think she'd be a great mom.
Yeah, I hope she's happy, because I always heard that she wanted to have a family one day. So I'm happy for her that she.
Yeah, I think she's so like likable, Rihanna, and like because she's been through such a like bumpy road, and like she just seems like such a cool gal. So like,
and now she's a billionaire, so there you go.
Exactly.
One day,
lucky
maybe
baby.
we're gonna get music again. Maybe one day.
Because I thought she was releasing an album this year.
I think everyone was. I think maybe she wasn't planning getting pregnant, and it just happened, kind of thing. Because I think she was working on new music and things.
Maybe she can still release it, because you know. It will sell
To
itself.
be honest, at her level, she doesn't have to promote the album. She can just release the album, and
everyone will be like.
She doesn't have to go, you know, because it's Rihanna. So it's true. Maybe she will release it.
I hope so. It's going to be a good year for music this year, because I know no one really cares as much as me, but Benito, Bad Bunny, he's so like himself, you know. He just like, because he deleted everything off his Instagram.
Yeah,
and
like dramatic.
And then he came back with a reel, being like, oh, I'm gonna go on tour. So he announced this so reggaeton, like announced his tour, and he was like, and then I'm gonna give you a new album, and I was
It'll
like,
be interesting, yeah.
I was so happy, wasn't I? I was like, Benito,
what's happening? It's really cool. I mean, he's in the top of the world right now, so it's a good momentum to keep. I mean, he's on the creative.
I think he's really hardworking though, Benito. Like you can tell. I don't know why I have to call him Benito. Just because he's like, I know him. We're on a level. Benito.
We chat on WhatsApp. So let's see this year.
And Rosalia as well.
Rosalia's releasing a new album, so we can wait for Rosalia. So cool.
So good.
So yeah.
Amazing.
Well, yeah.
So whose week is it?
Now it's your week, right? It's Claire's week.
It's time for Claire's secret topic of the week.
So what are we talking about this week?
Okay,
Can you tell me more?
I have a question.
I always want to speak like this. I don't know why I never tried this. I've always said I will try this episode. Like, hey, Claire.
More like.
And we come this time. We can become this podcast. Like, hey guys. It's okay. What we're gonna talk about this week?
Okay, so I've got a question for you, Enzo.
Okay.
Do you think you're cool?
Like, of course.
Do you?
Yes.
You do think you're cool, don't you? I can see it in your little face. I want to talk about, this is something that I've been thinking about, and I want to take this from like kind of two different ways, just see where the conversation goes, blah blah blah. So I was talking to our friend Leah about this, and I was saying that I personally feel like when like for me, cool, and I don't know what you think, but like it kind of changes as you get older, and like people, like what you used to think was cool when you were younger isn't really cool now. And like I have an idea of like why somebody is cool and then why somebody becomes not cool, but I also want to talk about this thing called being a cool girl.
All right.
So have you read or seen Gone Girl?
The movie? Yeah, the movie,
So that was basically where this term originated. So I'm just going to read the little passage from there. So just to say that you can actually be like, even if you're a man or you are non-binary, you can still be a cool girl.
Because the terminology applies for everyone.
Exactly.
All right.
Men always say that as a defining compliment, don't they? She's a cool girl. Being the cool girl means I'm a hot, brilliant, funny woman who adores football, poker, dirty jokes, and burping, who plays video games, drinks cheap beer, loves threesomes and anal sex, and jams hot dogs and hamburgers into her mouth like she's hosting the world's biggest culinary gangbang while somehow maintaining a size 2. Because cool girls are above all hot and understanding. Cool girls never get angry and let their men do whatever they want. Go ahead, shit on me. I don't mind. I'm the cool girl. And I thought this was super interesting. And like, this is kind of maybe two different things to like being cool and the cool girl. But I just want to kind of talk about this because I feel like, I don't know, do you ever feel like you've been a cool girl?
No, I mean, I'm thinking like,
I'm just effortlessly cool.
This just happened naturally, guys. No, I feel like, I mean, this concept itself is very sexist, of course. It's very it's very like this idea of like women of a person has to be, well, in women obviously affects more. I feel like they have to be this cool thing. They're above everything. Never get angry because women are not supposed to get angry because they're not angry. They're too much. You know, it comes from that. Like women should be easy, and also like sports like guys or whatever that means. And I think it feels very like kind of like adapt to something to kind of be. Doesn't mean like you are never against anything. You just go with the flow. That's why it's cool.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like in this case, it's like, basically letting your man, in this case, get away with bad behaviour. Because
of
like,
course.
you're a cool girl, so like, you're never going to get angry at like something shit that they do. So it is really, really sexist. But it's also like very unattainable, right? Like, it's very like... this kind of, well, I mean, it's like
it's like a movie character.
Yeah,
it's like
completely.
Because, I get it. Yeah, because you have to be the hot girl, but also you should eat a lot, but still be super fitness.
Exactly.
Then you have to be super manly, but still being not manly, but you have to be super feminine and be around manly stuff and be comfortable.
For sure.
It's kind of like this thing, like oh my gosh, she's so cool because she likes football, kind of thing. It's kind of comes from like this idea.
And I think this is the same thing that kind of links with like, are you cool? Because I was thinking like, for me, I think that somebody, because what is being cool? It's like...
Why someone is cool for you, for example? Like,
well, I think it's changed because I think back in the day, and I think maybe you'll agree, what used to be cool, if I think about like, because I went to uni in Brighton, it was like very cool, you know, like very alternative.
Yeah.
But when I think back about the people who I thought were cool,
it was super cringy.
They were very cringy, but also so untouchable. And that's the thing about cool, is that they've got this wall. I mean, I'm sure they're not like that now. I'm 31. I was at uni when I was 18, but like it was like very like you can't touch them. They're so cool, and like people who are cool are very. And it goes back to this cool girl thing of like you're very unbothered. You're very like don't get overly like excited by something. Don't show that you're like. If you think of like a band or like rock and roll, it's like, oh, it's so like cool because you're not like that into it. You're just like take it or leave it. But now that for me is so uncool, I think.
I understand. Yeah, like the idea of someone being like, I think because cool comes from the idea like you don't pay attention to anything enough because you are so above everything, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're right in this. I feel the same way because I think nowadays if I meet someone, it's like that. I'm gonna be like, can you have an opinion of a choice? I wouldn't like to be with someone being like, I don't know, I cannot be bothered to check that. I cannot be bothered to hear that. It's a bit like, well, you know what I mean? Because it's a bit like, what you're above what? You're not giving me, you're basically avoiding something for giving me like a real opinion on something, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But in this case, if we go back to Rihanna, we all think that Rihanna is cool. And why we think Rihanna is cool?
I think Rihanna is cool because
I feel she's that, but in a real way, which is weird to, I guess, like, because she seems to be unbothered, but I think it's more of her attitude toward things. I think she's very empowered, so maybe that's why she makes her cool.
And it's interesting about Rihanna because I don't feel like Rihanna doesn't care. I do feel like she cares, and I don't think she's so like I could imagine. I don't think I've ever seen her cry, but I could imagine her crying at something. You know, like she doesn't seem like.
It's not like disconnected. It's not. It's not about being like blocked.
Which I think a lot of coolness is.
You're right.
Because I don't. Rihanna is clearly cool, but I wouldn't really actually describe her as cool because for me, maybe the word cool has kind of a negative connotation now.
I get it.
But she is cool.
I get
clearly.
It. Yeah, I get what you mean. I guess I don't know. There's some type of freshness or some type of naturality to cool as well. I think for me nowadays. Yeah. Back in the days, I don't know if it was about that.
So what do you think is cool now? What did you used to think cool was, and what do you think cool is now?
I think cool for me was people like, for example, they were very creative. I think like people that were very creative with their clothing. I think they were cool. For me, they were cool people back in the day. Like if they were trying something that not everyone was trying and they were kind of like pushing it, like I would be like, oh, that person is cool for me. Kind of like, I feel for me, cool is thinking outside the box a bit.
Yeah.
For me, I think that was more being cool because maybe I never like went deeper on this back in the day. For me, maybe it was like, oh no, she's cool because she has like a cool thing, like a cool outfit. Like it's like, well, I say like fashion, for example, I think that was cool. But I think nowadays what cool means, I think it changed a lot because it feels like when you're in your 30s, it's a bit like how you define yourself being cool. Totally. Or if you're in your 40s, because it seems very young as well. Yeah. So I guess
that's a good point.
I don't know how it changed the notion of being cool as you're getting older, maybe. I think like in our age, I think for me someone's cool if it's like maybe has like a passion that is taken to some other place, kind of like of this pursuing something that it's different. For me that would be cool. Like I don't know, if you tell me, oh no, I started to learning how to drive Formula 1 cars. I don't know. I would be like, well, that's cool. That's very different. I think for me it's different. I guess if you do something different, but what different is, I guess.
I think there's something cool about someone like owning something, right? Like
ownership,
that thing of like, and I think cool still kind of, but it's different because I was going to say like it's, when somebody's cool, it's kind of like they don't need your approval. But it used to be like, I don't need your approval. I'm so like fucking hard and cool. But you know, when actually you look back at people who you think were cool,
they actually
they need it so badly.
For approval.
Exactly.
That's
but
true.
When somebody like Rihanna, she's so confident in herself. You can tell that she truly doesn't need that approval.
Yeah.
And that is cool. I was going to say, like, do you think that because like obviously I do think you're cool, but I do think when you know someone really well, they can become a bit uncool because it's a bit like, you know that, and that's so sweet.
It's like the magic, it's gone.
A bit, like it's a bit like we know how silly we are. Like you don't think I'm cool, probably. It's like, because it's like, being cool is a bit like a facade, I think, and once you truly know somebody, then you still think they're amazing and creative and all of that, but
so being cool is like a perception, most of it. It's a perception, basically. Like
because is it being an act? Is it an act, like being cool?
Maybe. I mean, I think it has like an acting part, but I also feel like because it's come from perception, it's something that is always very like superficial at the end of the day. Yeah. It's like we think someone is a good person just by looking at the like you know, we think about like, I don't know, Rosalia, she seems to be a good person.
How do we know?
How do we know? It's just because you have some information that you put together and you believe that person is that. So I think it's more like actually it's like an ideal or idea, an ideal of something.
And that goes back to the cool girl thing, I think.
Because it comes back for like, it comes from ideas and like I think it's because, I mean, I would think that you're cool, but it's not like, but I don't think like, I mean, Rihanna is cool, but but who is Rihanna? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think if you are friends with Rihanna, she would be like that. You are very right with this. I don't think like their friends are like, oh, she's cool. You know what I mean? Because the part that it's not like a, I don't know, like, it's
like a weird barrier or something. And then I think when you truly know someone, it's like, I don't know, it kind of shifts in a way. And I think because it's almost like being a bit fake, I think.
Like putting like an act of being...
A bit.
But you don't think you can have like cool elements in your personality? I don't think like...
You can.
Right?
Yeah, you really can. Yeah.
For example, like... If you ask me, like, I will think something cool about you is like you like to explore new plans quickly.
Yeah.
You're not like tell you like, Claire, let's go and hike this mountain here in London. You will be like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
For me, that's a cool attitude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's a piece of you that I do believe it's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's true. It's true. I get you, and I think it's like, I think even though I think it has changed, hasn't it? When you because I would still say that you're super cool, even though I feel like I do know everything about you. Yeah. But it's like, but I don't view you in a way that's like.
Idealized version as well. I think cool is a bit of like put an ideal of something, kind of like you.
For sure.
You like And I wonder like if when you're getting older, like your 40s or your 50s, how that vision change. Like if you're in your 50s, who do you think it's cool, right? Like that's weird. Like what's the perception that you need to have to think someone is cool? I don't know, it's very interesting. Like I don't know, maybe you stop thinking the person is cool, you start thinking the person is interesting. Because I think that's the thing when you see like older people, as get older, like even us, but you know what I mean, like when they're getting older, they're looking for someone that's interesting. But when you are in your 20s, you're looking for someone that's cool. So I think the terminology
it's really true,
changed,
isn't it?
Right?
Yeah. And I think it's like you say, like when we maybe in our 20s, we thought like being very like, maybe like being into drugs or like being very detached was really cool. But now it's like in our 30s, like doing like a new plan or something is
that's
cool.
So
maybe
true.
in your 40s, like someone being a good parent is like cool, and then blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
like
it's true because, for example, like, again, going back to your 20s, if someone is drunk all the time, that's a cool person because it's always party, out, fun. But if in your 30s, if someone is on like drunk every single day, it's like you have a problem.
Exactly.
You're an alcoholic, so we need to do something about it. Or
Definitely.
You are having an issue in your life. So do you think like coolness come more from at this period of time, like security, like self, like being very like secure who you are, having like really like form opinions of something, having like a good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it sounds really cringy, but for example, now if you ask me kind of like what's cool or like what's impressive, if you want to like use a different kind of word, it's like I think it's so impressive if somebody's like really kind. Or like somebody's like, I've been in therapy for a year because and I'm like, that is really cool. Like, it is cringy, but when somebody's vulnerable, I'm like, wow, that's actually cool. Really impressive because you're kind of having the balls to be like that.
It kind of, I think, kind of respond to the thing you were saying before, because in our 20s or when we were younger, for us, cool was like, it was like a facade. It was like a playing a part, which were detached. So now, when you feel someone is being the opposite of detached, it's kind of like, that's impressive because you are used to people being always very like attached to this image of themselves.
Because it's easier to be detached and like hide behind different things. It's more vulnerable to be like, oh, I'm struggling with this, or like blah blah blah, or like I'm working with it. Do you know what I mean? And I think do you think the concept of someone being cool or what coolness means change depends on what you like? What are your like maybe and different, like probably different periods of your life as well. But I agree, like I would probably think it's cool if like somebody has their own like photography studio or something like that, because I really like art and all of that. But then like if of course. I think so,
I wonder that because exactly for me, if I find someone that has some passion or something related to something artistic or creative overall, I find that cool, especially in the 30s, because I feel a lot of people when they reach their 30s, they start to but they start to put in their time in different pockets, in different spaces. and think in spaces for creativity or like doing things out of the box or having fun in some way, it's kind of putting behind, putting up in the back. But so it's weird to find people in their age being like, oh, I'm pottery. I'm painting, it's like, oh wow, that's really cool.
But then some people might be like, that's so lame, why are you doing that? But so you're right, it is what we find interesting. So probably we'll be like, oh, somebody's doing some like creative project, we're like, that's so cool. But it is also really cool when, and again, this is so different to your like teens and 20s, like when somebody is enthusiastic about anything, it can be anything that is so attractive and endearing, and they're just speaking like it can be something like like accountancy, something so different from what I do, but if they're speaking about it passionately, you're like, yes. And like,
you're right,
enthusiasm then, because it used to be so like, people used to be like nonchalant and it's so cool, but now that's so boring when but then again, our personalities are quite bubbly, enthusiastic kind of thing. And
but you're right, now where you were saying that, I was thinking about it, and it's true. I find people are cool when they're very like engaged and they're very like open to things, whatever it is, even if it's open to like, let's cook rice. But you know what I mean? Like, definitely, people that are open to new stuff, whatever it can be, for me, that's cool. That's why I think like and again, I think it comes back to this idea of when we're getting older, we're getting a bit more slower and a bit more like inspired. It's shit, but I feel people as they're getting older, they're starting to get more stopping doing things, being more quiet, being more this. Your energy maybe drops a bit, which is normal. You have less energy, but if you don't push it, you will go down and down. Yeah. That's why until you die, basically. But I feel that if you are very connected, open, and always trying something new, for me, that's cool in this age.
Agreed.
So like, for example, like thinking, I don't know, I think your mom is cool, for example.
She is.
So I was thinking about your mom is cool. And your mom is not our age, obviously. It's a mom's age for somebody that is 30s. But she's very cool because she's very active and she's like doing things, and she's very like, you speak with her and she has like so many ideas popping up, and for me that's cool. Like, she's a cool woman. So it's true.
She'll love that. She'll be like, Enza.
You tell her like she can watch this episode. No, but
I get you.
I think it's come from
and
that.
It's just so interesting kind of how it shifts. I think let's just go back to the cool girl thing, because I think that's kind of
problematic. I mean, for me, I feel the cool girl concept is very like American as well. I feel for me it takes me back to the image that we'll see on a movie, for example. Like in movies they portray
like Megan Fox
could be like a cool girl because she's like sexy, but she's into sports, she's into that. And I wonder like why. I mean, obviously not why, the reason why is clear, but it's funny, like we think as a society like women needs to pair with whatever men like, which is also a construction, like why men has to like sports and beers and all of that.
True.
So it's like, first we create this idea that men, they should like sports, beers, and having fun in cars, and then from this idea we think like a woman has to think the same way for being cool and for being at the same level. And it's interesting because you see kind of like when a man, for example, like if a man see like a woman that knows how to fix the car, it's kind of like a respect thing. And it's like, why if this woman doesn't have to fit? For example, one day if I have a car, I don't think I'm into fixing cars. And I'm a man. It's like, do I need to be into fixing cars? No, I don't even care about cars. It's not my vibe at all. And it's fine. So it goes back to this idea of like, we create a society based on what men thinks and likes and thinks is correct. And then we ask the women to pair with that.
But of course, she still had, like they were saying, like you eat all the like hamburgers or whatever, but you still have to be a size 2. So it's like,
true.
You still have to like, you have to kind of like have this like very delicate balance of being just enough, just masculine, but not at all like manly. Still like very feminine.
It's not
and
manly, but it's like you like masculine stuff.
Exactly. It's so fucked.
But it doesn't come for this idea like women has to be like. I think it's such an intricate concept because I think it comes back for the idea that women has to be at home, cooking, being pretty, and being all of that. But then the switch to this idea that women that are against that, they're cool, but then they're not against that much. They're like kind of like following a pattern that men's like. You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's very complex,
and
if you think about it.
It goes into this thing that you said at the beginning of the episode of like, it's so bad for a woman to be angry, and this is how patriarchy continues and how like men get away with really, really bad behavior, because it's like, okay, like, don't get angry. It's like, but then for a woman, it's like, no, I'm cool. And I've done that as well. I've definitely been a cool girl. Like, no, I'm not getting angry. It's okay, you can do that. No, it's like, it's okay to be angry if somebody's treating you badly, but it's like, it's very... And that's so sexist, and it's like a tale as old as time. Like,
yes,
the woman can't be... it's not attractive for a woman to be angry.
Yeah.
And that is really...
Or on herself kind of thing.
For sure.
Do you think, or do you have a memory when do you kind of like were like, oh, of course, you know, well, I'm being a cougar, but what do you think, do you have a moment when you kind of switch like your way you were reacting? Because, you know, you were saying like before, maybe you were like, oh my God, I'm being too angry, I'm being a woman, like, I cannot have this opinion.
Yeah.
Do you have a moment that you think like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore?
Like, oh, I'm not down with that kind of thing. Like, I'm not going to be...
I
think just generally, like, getting older.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I think
you embrace that more.
Yeah, and it's sort of like I think, and you'll have that as well, you kind of get to this point, I think, in your 30s where you're just like, actually, I don't really give a fuck if you don't like me.
Yeah.
I can't.
Natural, right?
I don't really have the energy to like keep up this kind of thing. I mean, to be honest, I think I've definitely been like a cool girl, like in my teens and all of that. But you, I think we all kind of do that a bit, especially I think if you move in slightly creative circles. There's that tendency to be like, oh, I'm cool, I'm like doing drugs and like, don't get me wrong, like I wanted to try drugs and all of that, and like I like partying and stuff. But then I think like, oh,
but
wait, what?
The point is not doing it. The point is why you're doing
exactly.
it.
And that's the thing. I think it's a thing of like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with liking football or liking burgers or liking beer, but only if you're doing it because you like it, not because you want a man's approval. And I think, but that's something that I think we have to fight as women constantly, because I think you always actually have to question like, am I doing this because I want to, or am I doing it because men or society wants me to do that? And in general, like, you should never, but it's so easy to say this, you should never change yourself for somebody, but actually, like, it's so ingrained, like if you want someone's approval and you want somebody's love as well, then of course you're going to find yourself doing these things, but it's really fucked.
It's really fucked. It's a really cultural system that we have, and I think a lot of it's not like I'm going to be... Men are always suffering as well. Not as well. But I think like also men fall in this kind of thing. Not every single man, of course. But, you know, when you come maybe from a structure or a place that is very structure of what means to be a man. So I know that a lot of men, they don't like what they think they like. You know what I mean? They don't question that. They don't like to... eat burgers, drink beer, and talk about cars the whole day, you know? But that's what society tells them that it's good. That's why we need to fight from... It's not like... Also, I think it goes back to, like, this thing that it's not, like, only a fight from one side or the other. Yeah. I think whatever your position, you need to fight this.
Very true.
Of course, like, men are the problematic part of it. Yeah. But if you're a man and if you're in a position of realize that's wrong, you need to fight it as well. You cannot just stay quiet and think like, oh no, that's a women's issue to kind of like go. And no, they need to fight. No, it's from your side as well that you need to make the change.
That thing of like, I think it was maybe Jamila said on her podcast, I Weigh, like something about like if you're a guy and you hear like sexist kind of like, you know, like locker room banter or like being like... She said it was her. Like then say like, actually no, like that's not okay because, you know, you wouldn't like that if they were talking about your sister or your mom or your girlfriend.
So true.
But it takes courage, I think, because it's not to say that it is easy for men to say like, actually don't talk about her like that, it's not okay, or like, you know what, actually I really don't like beer. I don't like football or something like that. I think it's
totally fine.
Yeah, but it's like we should do an episode on toxic masculinity, I think. We haven't really gone there.
We will.
But there we go. Thank you for the chat, little Enzo.
So, it's a very interesting topic. I will think more about it later as well.
And so it's like, I'm still cool, I'm standing by that. End of discussion.
End of discussion, I know what you think.
Okay, so Enzo has 60 seconds to tell us his final thoughts on this topic of being cool, being a cool girl, all of that. Are you ready?
I'm ready, yeah.
Let go.
I think, obviously, we change through our life, and I think it's alright that kids, or when you're really young, you have these ideas of someone is cool or not to an extent. But I think that's good that nowadays we have more tools. Like, it's good, I think idealize something on someone to a extent can be good if it's for the right reason. It's like, oh, I admire this person because maybe has the career I want, or has the fashion sense that I wish I had, or that type of thing can be possible. But that's the tricky part. That when at least I'm talking from experience. When we were young, we didn't have that.
Yeah.
So we're admiring people just because, but we didn't have the background to like dissect what was wrong or right about it. So I think like for the new generation or whatever, it's important that for them to have these tools to be like, why I'm admiring this person, what I admire about them, and kind of like, and definitely we need to work together to kind of rebuild this concept of a cool girl and change it to something like cool doesn't mean to fit someone else like ideals. You have to be your own ideals and own yourself. Be own yourself and being present. That's cool. So
I think it's always about that stuff in life, right? It's always about the why. Like, why am I? God, I sound like some bloody like self-help guru. It's always about the why, guys. But it's like, but it is.
It is
about
why I'm
that.
doing
like,
it. Yeah.
Why am I doing that? Am I doing it for somebody else? But then that it's hard to constantly be like.
But you need to question yourself.
You do.
But
You need to question
true.
Everything.
But like, I mean, not to get too philosophical, but we are living this once, at least with this body once. So if you are here, you need to really, at least try to reach answers for yourself, like why you think like this, why I feel like this, and and when you're asking this question, you start to like, oh, I have this because of this or because of that, and it's good to know this because then you can change yourself something that you don't like.
Once you start unpicking one thing, then everything else unravels. I've noticed.
Yeah, so it's not easy, guys. Good luck. To be honest, I would prefer to be like that any day than being like just like a blind person that is living in a kind of like a lie, because you're not living your own truth, you're living like someone else's
comfortable kind of facade kind of thing.
That's a bit boring.
Yeah.
So guys, you should go and think about things, like think why you think stuff.
Exactly. Circle back
all the time.
Well guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. See you next week.
See you. Bye
guys.